who pulled up for a catch-up. It's really here from 947 Afternoons. And if you're here, it means you've got taste. Go ahead, enjoy the moment you missed. But don't ghost me. Weekdays, 12 to 3 p.m. on 947. I'm loud and way more fun in real time. And yeah, there's more audio magic waiting for you right here on Prime Media Plus. Wake up with a bang. Hey, wake up!
Anele and the club
On 947.
President Cyril Ramaphosa has described the destruction caused by floods in Limpopo as catastrophic.
We've always got to be careful. You know, they say snakes don't brush their teeth. Latoya Templeton, the grade 7 pupil, drowned at a leadership camp on Saturday.
Over 20 volunteers walked up to the 6 hikers that were stranded on the mountain.
Oh, this conversation is very important, and it is one that I have been dying to have for the longest time, because reaction when you are faced with an emergency, with danger, your reaction time actually could decide whether somebody lives or dies, and that person could very well be you. It could be a loved one, it could be a colleague, it could be a fellow pupil, and all of those things. But most important, the reason then there was so much urgency around this was the floods that happened in Limpopo, the floods that we saw happen over the holidays in KZN, the floods that we are seeing happening in Mozambique. It left me cold. It really left me cold. And I was just like, I wonder if I would know what to do in a situation where my car was being swept away by water.
And I think for most parents, these are the kind of things that keep you up at night, right? So we've invited 2 specialists because the kind of dangers that keep you up at night, right? Like you're saying, the floods. We saw terrible flooding and terrible loss of life as well. But then there's all sorts of other things that I know that you
blind spots
that you're scared with your kids. So we invited 2 guests to come and join us today. Dr. Thandeka Ngcana, qualified last year as the first Pediatric Neuro-Oncologist in the country. That's incredible. Pediatrician, also works at Chris Hani Baragwanath Academic Hospital, and she's done helicopter emergency services before, right? And then we've invited Kyle Nesbitt, who is the chairman of SARZA, the Search and Rescue South Africa, Gauteng, volunteered there for 10 years, training officer as well, and he's just come back from Limpopo, as part of the floods rescue there. So these 2 people, I think, could give you a lot of insight into what happens in these emergency situations.
And before we welcome them on and open the lines, 011-8838-947, you can send us your questions as well. We're here for you, 084-0000-947. I just want to say that we are here to give you the best case scenario here. Yeah. None of this is concrete. If you follow anything that you're being advised to do and things sadly don't work out that way, like this is a disclaimer that we are just trying to push you as close as possible to survival as we can.
Yeah,
right?
I think every situation is unique.
Yeah.
So hopefully our 2 specialists today can give us some tips around what could work for you in that emergency situation.
Dr. Thandeka Ngcana, welcome to Anele in the Club. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Anele.
Mr. Kyle, is it Nesbitt?
Yeah, Nesbitt.
Mr. Kyle Nesbitt, thank you so much for your time as well.
You,
honestly, I am in awe of the work that you guys do. Firstly, it's kept me up now for a month straight, the whole floods thing. Let's say I'm in a car and let's say I've got 2 kids in the car, right? I'm driving, the kids are on the back, everybody's in their safety belts. And we're caught in a flood and the water is filling up outside of us. I have a sunroof. What do I do?
Yeah, so Anele, it's all situations are different. I think let's just make that very clear. I think primarily everyone should avoid low-level bridges when they are in flood. It's not worth risking your lives or tempting fate. You know, just a few 100 millimeters of water can change the buoyancy of a car, and it can push it off bridges, as we've seen across Gauteng and the rest of the country. But if you really had to make a decision or do something, you could go out, preferably on the downstream side. Cars do create eddies, natural eddies, so on the downstream side of a river. But it is... Yeah, there's a lot of hydraulic forces, a lot of hydraulic pressure that's been applied to the car. So sometimes your car's doors might not open, the windows may malfunction and not work. And so it's very difficult to say what the right or wrong thing is. But if you've got a sunroof, for sure, climb out onto the roof and wait there to be rescued. We've had scenarios where people have gotten out the cars and they've been washed away, scenarios where people haven't gotten out of the cars and they'll be able to be saved. Every situation is unique.
So when you say downstream, the normal person, let's say I'm looking at something, what is downstream the way I'm being pushed by the water?
Yeah, so
I must just go with it.
Well, if you need to get out the car, preferably from the windows.
Yes.
If you don't have a sunroof, as you say, then it would be on the downstream side, so where the water will take you. So that would be on the downstream side. That would be the safest place in a very, very dangerous situation.
So as I'm understanding you, because obviously, as soon as that car starts moving and the water starts pushing you, you're freaking out, right? And your immediate instinct is to get out of the car, which could be very dangerous if you're in the floody part, the highest pressure part of the stream. And what you're saying is sometimes keeping calm and waiting to move a little bit further away from the rapids could help you.
Yeah, correct. And what we have seen, even real case scenarios, we've had a car that's started moving on a bridge. It got washed up against the bollards or the energy breakers on a bridge. The person got out the car and was sadly taken in the river because of the forces of the water.
Yeah.
If this person in this situation stayed in the car, they actually would have been okay. We've had other situations where people have been washed off bridges and they were thankfully got out of the car and were able to swim to a nearby rock. So it's very difficult to say what the right or wrong thing is. But if you do have a sunroof, that would be a good solution. Climb onto the roof and wait until you can get rescued.
This is why I want to bring Dr. Thandeka in here. With your helicopter work, what makes it easier for the helicopter and the rescue team to rescue me now in that situation? What should I do more of and less of?
I think I'll reiterate on something Kyle said, and I would like to express on that.
Yeah.
It's very important to stay calm.
But I've got 2 kids in the car.
Yeah, no,
Stay calm. I know it's not easy. I have 2 kids to stay calm. But also try as much as possible to be visible. Because if we're coming to you from an aerial site, find something that you can something you can reflect with, or maybe
bright clothing.
And I mean, it happens with pool drowning, like day-to-day pool drowning. If you take your kids to the beach, one of the most important thing or advices that have been given for people from when you go to public area where there's the risk of drowning is high, the importance of
bright clothes.
The brighter, the better, and the easier it is to spot you.
I've never thought of that, but that's probably why, if you think about kids and their little costumes that
they're always so bright
like
and
neon
pretty.
pink and neon, and we all go, oh, that's cute, but that's actually could help.
Yes, that could really, really help. And try to stay calm so that when Kyle comes out to come fetch you, when we come, usually he goes in first and brings them to us. And by then we start probably if there's a need for resuscitation or stabilization.
Okay, so because we watch movies a lot as well, and it's wrong because movies do not depict real life. What's the story about taking off your head? Let's say now we are fully submerged in water and the car is filling up with water, right? What's the story around taking your headrest out and then breaking the window? Is it advisable to break the window because now the water's going to come in?
Yeah, so there are those stories that headrests are sharp on the end that you can use to break windows. I think if you've got any equipment, as I mentioned earlier, your windows probably will not work if you are in a river. So if you can break the window, again, downstream side, that would be the preferred option in a very hostile environment. But yeah, so downstream side, if you do break it with a headrest, use anything at your in the vehicle that you can use. And if it is a headrest, then so be it.
Hey guys, apparently when your car is drowning, you cannot open the door because of the pressure until the water fully floods the car.
Is that true?
Yeah, so it's also a lot of our cars nowadays have got electrical components, and so we don't know if those components will be working. But definitely if the river is applying hydraulic forces and pressures onto the upstream side, it will not open. Even the window might not be able to open. I think it's difficult to say once it's been filled up with water or not. I think it'll be too late to do that. But I think rather just avoid those situations at all costs.
I have a question, because obviously also we see it in the movies, right? But how long on average, Kyle, I mean, this is a on average question,
does it take for the car to
fill up? Because that's your first fear, right? So you get swept into the river and you go, oh my gosh, like in the movies, the car is going to fill up within 10 seconds. Does it happen that quickly? Can you stay calm long enough in the car?
Yeah, so it happens very quick.
Okay.
But also depends on how deep the river is. Sometimes the car might be standing on the riverbed, and then it won't fill up. But if it's sinking, there'll be a bit of initial buoyancy, but it will fill up relatively quickly.
Really quickly.
Dr. Thandeka, let's say we are sitting at a restaurant and one of us starts choking. What's the best thing to do? Do I go in with my hand and try to take this thing out of their mouth? Because we all think we'll be able to do the Heimlich maneuver. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, we've tried. We've learned it.
Yeah,
as
we
kids.
all think we're going to be able to do it. But even CPR, because you watch Baywatch and you think you can do CPR, but half of us are doing it wrong. And so what happens when somebody's choking? And is there a different thing to do when it's a child choking or a fully grown adult?
In a case where you have choking or an emergency, it's very important that we remember in any emergency, in medical school, there's one thing that they use to teach us: help, hazard, hello. Or actually, it's hazard, help, hello. So you make sure that there's no hazard around you, or maybe you'll fall over a fork if you see in a restaurant.
Okay.
And then number 2, call for help. If there's someone else at the same time that can call for help, like you're saying, maybe you don't know or you're not trained in resuscitation or emergency. Try and secure the airway. If you can open the mouth and it's something that you can see visibly, it's there in front, and you can get to it and you can take it out, just to make sure that the airway is open so that the patient or the person can breathe. Heimlich maneuver is a very technical maneuver, and if
you're holding,
where you're holding and what pressure you are applying and the direction of the pressure that you are applying, or what our grandmothers used to do and give you a big slap
on the
between
back.
your shoulder blades on your back and hope that it comes out. So even with that, it's important to even know how to do it, because you can't just randomly smack.
Yes, I know. Anela did that to me once because I was choking on a little piece of toast and she just slapped me on the back. That didn't help.
It's because I just wanted to slap
She
you in
just wanted
general.
to
She slapped me. I know.
It's an assault.
I thought it was pretty much that's what it was, yeah.
So it's kids, right? When it's a kids, I go for the airway and I try to just take out whatever it is. And then let's say I'm dealing with an overweight adult, right? I can't put my arms around them to do the Heimlich maneuver. Then what? God be with them.
I have not seen an adult patient since 2009.
Oh, yes, pediatrics. Sorry. Kyle, over to you, buddy.
Yeah, so look, the doctor's quite right. We do hazard, hello, help, and then just a general first aid course. And I think it's something that we might talk about a bit later, but just I think being prepared and having the training to do that. You would, if the person is unresponsive, you'd want to start with CPR, and obviously you'd need to be trained in CPR. If you can, if it's an obese adult, you could attempt to do an Heimlich maneuver, but it's you really need to know what you're doing. But I think just simple CPR would be a good attempt. And bystander CPR actually does save lives.
Oh, that's interesting. Let's talk about that.
Okay, so on the way, your calls 011-8838-947. Any questions that you may have around emergencies, how to act, be it snake bites, broken arms. Because we also hear about things like when somebody falls, don't move them. Or when you get to an accident, don't move them. But sometimes you're just like, what if I can rush them to the hospital? You know, things like that. All of those things, there are no stupid questions here, and your questions could actually save a life. 084-0000-947. Get involved. Send us a voice note.
I've always been curious as to what to do if you are faced with a situation where you have to swim, but you don't really know how to swim. Like, what should you do in that situation?
Kyle?
I'm getting washed away. I don't know how to swim.
Look, it's in a very, very difficult situation you would find yourself in. If you can float, you can try and float with your legs pointing downstream, and then use your arms to direct you to the side of a bank. But yeah, again, it is extremely dangerous. There are strainers, culverts in our rivers, especially in urban areas. But yeah, that's probably the only advice that we could give.
Try and float.
If you can't swim, yeah. But with your legs pointing downstream, head upstream, use your arms to paddle.
And am I kicking with my legs, or is it?
Yeah, so you can use your arms to direct yourself like pedals, and then try, and if you angle yourself, actually, we talk about a fairy angle, and so if your body is pointing in a certain direction, the water could naturally push you to a bank. So if your head is pointing left and your feet are pointing right as you go downstream, your body would naturally push to the banks. But very dangerous and difficult position to be in.
I just wanted to ask, what do you do when someone has a stroke? Because I had a very traumatic experience because I didn't know what to do.
Doctor?
In a case like that, in any emergency, I'm going to go back to my triple H ABC.
Yeah.
Hazard, help, hello. Hazard, call for help. You're not trained to resuscitate. The best thing that you can do is to get help as quickly as possible. Make sure that the airway is patent. Make sure sometimes when people having this stroke, they have pooling of saliva in the mouth, or some of them even vomit, and then that could go into the lung, what we call aspiration, and position them in recovery position, which is be on their left lateral side or on their side.
Okay.
Just so that whatever is pulling in the mouth is
so I'm
actually
be lying flat on my back. Turn me around so I'm lying on my side.
So that even in that, whatever is pulling in your mouth is draining out and you clearing the airway. Make sure that you positioning your jaw is not like flopping backwards, so you're obstructing your airway. The important thing is getting as much oxygen as possible into this person, and just assess whether this person is still having a heart rate or not. And like Kyle had said earlier, sometimes bystander CPR has been the thing that saves a patient if there is a need to do CPR.
If I'm in a position to rush them to hospital, when should I not? In any emergency, let's say we're 5 minutes from Fourway's life and I can rush them there. When is it not advisable to rush somebody to the hospital because of the way that I transport them may be detrimental to their survival?
Yeah. So Anelia, I think just on the strokes, there's an acronym that you use called FAST to deal with strokes. So the F stands for facial droop. So if the side of the face changes. A is for arms. So if you hold your two arms out and one arm or limb lowers. S is for slurred speech. So if a person starts talking differently to what they're used to. So sometimes it's hard to determine if someone's talking with slurred speech. And then T is for time, really to try and get that person to hospital as quick as possible. So dealing with strokes, always think of the acronym FAST, and that will help you. I think to answer your question, there's thankfully in the Johannesburg area, there's a lot of EMS services. So if you can call EMS, find out how quickly they can get there. But if you are 5 minutes away from hospital and you can transport that person, I suppose you could. But if they've got a spinal injury, then you'd need to wait for professionals to assist you.
How do we know if it's a spinal injury? Like, what are the things? So obviously someone's fallen, but I mean, people trip on a stair and fall. Is there something we can look for? Obviously, if someone's fallen from a high place, highly likely, but is there any other way you can look?
Yeah, so if in doubt, always wait for medical professionals to arrive on scene. So then definitely, I would definitely advise to wait for those the professionals, and then they can come with the right equipment, stabilize the patients, perform a spinal immobilization, and then get those people the support that they need.
If you're just tuning in, we have got Dr. Thandeka Ngcana in studio. She works at Chris Hani Baragwanath, which is perhaps the most trauma-ridden hospital in the world, so she knows what she's talking about. We've also got Kyle Nesbitt, who's the chairman of SARZA, Search and Rescue South Africa. These are the voices that you're hearing now. Don't be like, hey,
Who are these people?
They're here to help us out. When you are in an emergency, what is the best thing to do before the professionals, the doctors, the paramedics come on site?
So last year, we lost a relative from a gun wound. So she was shot on the left thigh. So my question is, in such a case, what do you do? What do you need to tie, or where do you need to tie so that a lot of blood will not flow from the gun wound?
Yeah, I think this is a question about any kind of puncture wound, right? So something happens, someone gets shot, you fall, a spike goes through you, whatever. What do you do? Do you put pressure on the wound?
Okay, so when you get, like this caller has just alluded to this person having an injury in the leg. We have really two big vessels there. So your femoral artery and vein in that area.
Yeah.
Now the arteries are usually high pressure systems. So that's where your clean blood is being pumped through. And generally this bleeding is usually brighter than your venous blood. But of course you have to have seen it many times, and usually the arterial ones will be one coming out at those
the spray.
Shooting out like a spray.
Shooting out like a spray.
Yeah.
It's very important to put pressure on it to stop and minimize the bleed.
Do I take a cloth and put on? Do I block with my hand?
You can take preferably a cloth and put on and put pressure, because we trying as much as possible to slow down the bleeding. Put as much pressure as is over the wound or proximally to where, just above where the lesion is. The general practice, especially in movies, is you tie off the leg and whatnot.
Yes.
But that also depends on how much the wound, the blood is coming out. So how you would address an arterial bleed or a venous bleed will be differently. But importantly is pressure, because sometimes, especially in with the arterial bleed, in some of the bleeds, once you tie it off or tourniquet it off, you compromise blood flow peripherally, and you run the risk of losing that limb. So try and put pressure
rather
on the wound
as opposed
as
to
much
tying
as
it
possible.
up.
So you can get Anele to just put a cloth hold. You start driving and you go to the nearest place of help.
Anything you want to add there, Kyle?
No, I think it's right. You would want to pack the wound. If you really have to apply a tourniquet, you could consider that. But obviously, everyone do not carry those. But yeah.
Eddie's got a question for us. And I think this is a pertinent question, because I had this thought. I also went hiking in December. I think a lot of people go hiking, go up the Kopi, wherever you're going. And this thought crossed my mind. Eddie, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Morning, Eddie. We're wrapping it up with you. What's your question for Kyle and Dr. Thandeka?
Thank you so much. Also, just wanted to mention it's my first time on the radio.
Oh, I'm so glad we got you out of your mysterious era. Now, mystery's gone. Now we know you, Eddie.
Thank you. So I wanted to find out if I'm dealing with a snake bite. I've seen this in a few movies or a few TV programs. They say if you use olive oil to rinse your mouth and then suck the poison out, you can actually save that person.
You're going to die when.
Is that true?
You and the person who got bitten by a snake. Rest in peace to you guys. Kyle.
Yeah, so that's would be a old wives' tale or urban legend, I suppose. That is one of the worst things that you can consider doing.
Wow.
Sucking out the venom or applying tourniquets or shock therapy or heat therapy. That sometimes it's all urban legends, and old wives' tales. Do not do those. I would refer people to the African Snakebite Institute's website, and they've got an amazing app. It's a free app that you can download on your mobile device, and it's just got a wealth of information. It's got snake species, it's got a decision matrix and a decision flow about how to deal with snake bites. And really, it's incredible. I think one thing that you should never do also is try and catch the snake. Often people think you must catch the snake so that the doctor knows what snake will bit the individual. But that's also, you don't want to do that. If you can take a photograph of it would be helpful. But in hospital, professionals would treat the signs and symptoms of a snake bite victim or patients. And so, but yeah, if I can just encourage people to download the app, the African Snakebite Institute or ASR, and there is a wealth of information. And download it now when you've got internet and connection.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll get stuck out there in the wilderness.
Don't download it on the copy when the snake is in front of you. That's too late.
I was always phone, because we were told you must take a photo of it, you must catch the snake so that doctors know. I was like, I'm not doing that.
You can try and take a photo. I think it could be helpful, but don't try to catch it.
I'm just shocked that the snake stuck around for a photo shoot after it bit me.
And another important thing, because I lived in an establishment with a few snakes in it, one of the things that we've learned is try and keep the body part where the snake has bitten you above the heart. So one thing, if it bites, it's dangerous. Don't chase it. Don't catch it. Keep your arm or whatever area of the bite above the heart. Don't suck it. This is not a horror movie or something that you saw in a movie. And try to get to an emergency department as soon as possible.
Guys, I think we've pretty much covered all my fears. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for your time.
I've got new ones now. I have new fears now.
You made space for new ones.
Yeah, I've made space for new ones.
Dr. Thandeka Ngcana, Kyle Nesbitt, thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you guys do on a daily. You really are the unsung heroes, not even in this country, just in the world in general. I
think the best advice, and I think Kyle would say this, is for everyone to have some kind of I don't know what to call it, some kind of course, like some kind of a
first aid course.
First aid.
CPR course.
Just a basic one. It's very important.
Especially your nannies.
And I think swimming is a life skill, guys.
Yes.
Swimming is a very important life skill. Or water safety in general is a very important life skill because things can happen in just 5 seconds.
Thank you, guys.
Say goodbye now. Back to making your morning.
Anele and the club.
I love this show. On 947.